Hello, everyone. Oh, we got a nice big group. Let me start my video. I see some familiar faces. Oh, we got a nice big group. All right, let me spotlight for everyone. Hi, I am Christina, the founder of OMNoire. Sorry, I had a typo on my cover photo. I just put that time on there on the graphic because I wanted to make sure everybody that joined would know we would start a few minutes after. And then I realized, oops, I made a slight typo, but I'm so happy to see everyone. I see Seattle and Cincinnati. I'm here in Atlanta. We got, Boston, Canada, New York. I love it. And so I'm super excited for our second discovery call. Is there anyone that joined the first one? If you did, I was actually in Mexico in San Miguel de Allende. I was visiting the property where Alea is hosting her retreat in August. And I will tell you, I did not want to leave. That property, that city is incredible. And it was the first time that I actually have visited a city in Mexico besides a beach town. So I'm excited to talk to Alea tonight about her retreat, as well as Alicia and Coco and Donna. You guys are in for a treat. Again, thank you for joining. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll also have a Q&A section. I am going to go a little out of order. Normally we go in the order of the retreats, but Coco has to hop off a little early. So I'm going to bring her up in just a moment. And I got to find her. Coco, when you come on camera, there we go. And so Coco is hosting the Ancestral Reclamation Retreat in Dominican Republic, November 9th through the 13th. And then we'll circle back and we'll bring Alea on. We'll talk to Donna after that, and then Alicia after that. So, and then we'll also bring them all on a stage, so to speak, so that you can ask any questions or anything like that. So let me bring up Coco. Let's see. And have you guys taken a poll? If you haven't yet, please do so. Okay, awesome. And I forgot to kind of give a background in case you're new to OMNoire. A friend referred you or Google search. So I launched OMNoire in well, I want to say it was 2016. I really started it just as an Instagram page to highlight other women of color and wellness. I had just gotten my yoga teacher certification, and a lot of people would DM me, message me, and ask me if I knew a Black yoga instructor in St. Louis or a meditation teacher in Texas. And I'm like, I don't know, but we at least can start to seek them out and highlight them on our page. And so I had no other plans for OMNoire but that. And then in 2017, about a year and a half later, I hosted my first retreat in Grenada, October 28th, 2017, sorry. And we had 53 Black women from around the world. So that was my first retreat. And today I am 9 retreats in. And in 2021, after the pandemic and knowing that there was a space for more retreat leaders to offer their own unique teachings and certifications, that I launched the Retreats Academy. And so our first launch, we had 38 students in the Academy. Our second one, we had 22. And so that was in 2021. And now in 2023, we're getting ready to reopen registration because, like I tell my retreat leaders, there are 18 million Black women in the US alone. If you add women of color, that goes up to 43 million. There's enough space for all of us. And I'm really excited that we are able to offer a variety of retreats. I have a particular style of retreats. Coco has a particular style. Donna has, Alicia, and all of our retreat leaders. And so what I'd like to call is like the Airbnb of retreats for Black women and women of color. You can go right on our website and choose the retreat that speaks to you, from the destination, the dates, the costs, the retreat leader, the theme, all of that. And I'm excited to launch even more this year and beyond. So, all right, that's my spiel. Hey, Coco. So excited. Wait, was it Summer 2021. You were in the first cohort, right? Yes. I try to remember everybody. It's a big group. So Coco signed up in 2021, our first cohort. And so tell everyone your name and your day job. I said that your day job, your night job, and also like some of your specialties and things like that. And then we'll talk about your retreat.
Absolutely. Hey, everyone. It's so exciting to see all of you on the call. So I'm Sakuria Dickerson. I go by Coco. I live in Taunton, Massachusetts, about 45 minutes south of Boston with my husband and our 5-year-old son. Let's see. So I currently am blessed to be working as a full-time certified herbalist. Before this, I was a community organizer. I used to be the director of a nonprofit that does faith-based community organizing in Boston, Massachusetts. I transitioned out of that to doing coaching and consulting for community organizers and social justice workers across the country. And now I am fully doing herbalism work. So my focus is specifically on mental health, working with herbs specifically to support mental health issues, which is my own story and passion, and happy to share more about that as we go. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll keep my little screen small. Why retreats? Like, what caused you to sign up for the academy? Like what was that? Like, the time is now. This is what my heart is calling me to do.
Oh my goodness. So when I got the email that you sent out for the first Retreats Academy, it was to say less. It was like, I think the email, you listed some bullet points and it was like, did we have you at hello? I was like, yes, I don't even need to read the rest because this is exactly everything that I've been wanting to do, and to be able to do it with this level of support, this level of thoughtfulness, and this level of intention around community and thinking about wellness for other Black women, which has always been so important to me. It was a no-brainer. So that part was really simple. In terms of just where I was already at, so working as a community organizer, one of the things I got really, really clear about is oftentimes people who show up so excited to want to help other folks can be under-resourced in like helping themselves. And so as a community organizer, my heart can be very justice oriented. I did a lot of work around school to prison pipeline and changing policies in schools. I did a lot of work around mass incarceration. And by the end of my time as an organizer, I was burnt out. My depression was the worst that it had ever been, and just felt completely under-resourced in terms of how I was thinking about my own, wellness and care. And so having a job, having access to medical benefits, the option was, go to therapy. And so I went, to therapy and found, oh my goodness, I still need all these other resources that just were not there. And so for me, hosting retreats started as something that I was doing specifically with social justice workers. So especially during COVID, I had raised some money from some foundations and was leading what I referred to as radical self-care retreats specifically for community organizers. And it just being thank you. When are we going to start talking about these sorts of things? And so to see the offerings that you were putting out there, Christina, knowing that so many of the people who I was already working with were Black women in these organizing spaces. So a lot of the community organizing spaces that I find myself in, I'm looking at folks who look like me. And so it's just been really powerful to be way more intentional. I feel like, especially with raising grants, so much of what I was doing was trying to convince funders around why we should be thinking about self-care and actually putting money and dollars behind it. And so this has just been a very natural, harmonious, synergetic opportunity for me to do the thing that I already care about with folks who already want it. And so it's just a huge affirmation that, yes, we're in the right space.
I love that. I love when it's all in alignment. It's the timing, it's like I said, the heart work, the soul work, and it's really like like you said, it's like the path is clear for you. You know, you got the email, you had already been in the work, and really it was just kind of becoming a part of this community and this collective to help, you know, push you forward. But the desire was already there, the tools were already there. So tell us, like, the Ancestral Reclamation Retreat, this theme, why this theme, why were you called for this theme in this moment right now in your work?
Absolutely. Oh, so for me, ancestral reclamation and healing has just gone hand in hand. When I was directing for this nonprofit that I just mentioned, I got really, really clear that I had been struggling with anxiety and depression for over 20 years at that point. I'm just like, when did I start doing anything for 20 years? I'm not the youngest person in the room anymore. But at that point, you know, it'd been about 20 years. And at my best, I was a high functioning depressed person. I knew how to get up and go to work. I knew how to be promoted. I knew how to be good at what I do. I knew how to get out of bed. I knew how to, you know, raise this little child who don't give a crap if you anxious, depressed today. When are we going to eat? What are we doing today? Like, that is the priority. And so I got really clear, and like gentle with myself around, yeah, I feel grateful, you know, that I'm able to figure out, and here he comes. I'm so sorry, 1 second. Baby, can you please go back to Gigi? I told you Bobby had to take this call. I'm sorry, give me one. Tress.
All the
Hi.
moms already know.
I'm talking about you. So he said, I don't care, you got a discovery call, okay? I'm coming in this room, I got some things I want to say. Can you please go back to Gigi? No. Mom. So my mom is in town helping out with my son right now. So I'm gonna keep going. So yeah, just being honest with myself that at my best, I'm managing my depression, but that I could use more resource if more resources available. And so much of what, then can you sit by mommy while I'm talking? So mommy's talking to some friends right now. Yeah. And so being really honest with myself around, if there's something else available, I sure would like to know about it. And so as I start my own process of, okay, let's learn about some of these alternative healing practices that are out there. There's, you know, I was doing cognitive behavioral therapy. I was doing EMDR. So all these, you know, healing modalities that I think are valuable. And there's so many African, indigenous, you know, practices for mindfulness, for thinking about, you know, our mental health and how we care for it. Pumpkin, he's not gonna let me be great right now. He's like, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna nail this point home. And so in the process of doing so, Tress.
This is too adorable.
Tress, mommy is serious. Mommy's actually working right now. I'm working. I'm sorry, OMNoire community. Give me 1 minute. I'm gonna actually have to pick him up and take him to my mother. Give me one.
No problem. I'm sure the moms understand. Do you all have any questions for Coco? As you can see, she's gonna hop off pretty soon. But a couple things. So Coco is hosting the Ancestral Reclamation Retreat in Dominican Republic. November 9th through the 13th. What's really, really special about Coco's retreat is that you can choose between two tests, right? So let's talk about that since you're here really quick, and then we'll go back to like just the deeper meaning and like why this retreat was so important to you. So tell everyone, like, you know, when you book, you have the option to choose between two tests.
Yep.
Oh, wait, sorry, you're muted. Okay. I did that. I was trying to unmute you and I muted you. Go ahead.
Okay. So yep, you can choose between two tests. So we're taking the African ancestry DNA test, which is different than some of the other tests that are out there. The big difference with African ancestry is that it's a Black-owned company. They specifically focus on collecting samples from all across the Horn of Africa. So where most of us would be the descendants of. With the two tests you can take, you can do the matriclan test, which is where you test on your maternal line, so your mother's line, or you can take the patriclan test, where you test on your paternal line, so your father's line. Now, there are also options for if you want to test on your mother's line, you just need to make sure you have a female relative of your father. If you want to test on your mother's father's line, then you just need to have a male relative of your mother. And so for folks who are interested, just reach out. I feel like I had 1,000,001 questions when I submitted each test. So ask, and I'm, happy to share more.
Right. And there's something interesting about the patriclan test, right?
Yep. So with the patriclan test, you need a male relative in order to take that particular test. So you would need your father, your grandfather on your father's side, a brother of your father. So there are different options there, but pretty much you have to be able to trace that particular Y chromosome on your father's side. And women, we don't carry that chromosome, which is why you would need a male relative to be able to test. But for the matriclan test, we can take that. Women can take it.
Amazing. Okay, so going back to the theme, and we touched on this because we had a long conversation on WhatsApp, voice notes going back and forth, especially with Dominican Republic and its very complicated history, very traumatic history with Haiti. And so there are some people, who will not travel to Dominican Republic for their own reasons. So why Dominican Republic? And even to just touch on that, again, that very complicated history.
Yep, absolutely. And so let me share this too, because I was saying it before. My son was like, "You're not going to be great tonight." So with this particular retreat, for me, with my own journey around mental health, so much of how I ended up finding my way to the place that I am now. So I like to refer to myself as someone who's in recovery from anxiety and depression. So much of my platform with the organization that I founded, Root to Roots Wellness, is about helping people to tap into these Indigenous and Black practices that are so incredibly valuable for mental health. What a lot of people don't recognize is if you're Black descended living in this part of the world, you're probably the descendant of enslaved peoples. But I feel like we don't hear the stories of their resilience. We don't hear the stories of they were actually practicing self-care. We don't hear the stories of they were working with herbs, nervines, powerful, herbs for calming the nerves and thinking about their own mental health. All these things, are just as applicable for us today. And if they were working with them then surely, they make sense with all the stress, that we're dealing with in present day times. And so this particular retreat is really seated in, as you learned, the tribes that you come from. These tribes hold so many amazing rituals and self-care practices. So with African ancestry, everyone's results will be held. I'll receive your results in advance. And so where it's available, I'll share these practices with you in the space. And even where it's not available, all of us are the descendants of enslaved people. Part of what my passion work and one of the things I focus on as an herbalist are self-care, herbalism practices from those traditions of enslaved folks. And so everybody will get to go home being able to having had embodied experiences with these self-care practices. So try them on, while you're at the retreat, see what feels good, see what you're like, absolutely, this is authentically mine, or, ooh, I already love that. This is why, I love it because, it's from the lineage that I'm from. And when you go back home, be able to make powerful decisions around, yes, and now I want to align, integrate, make this a part of my everyday self-care, regimen. So that's what I want to say before my son came. In relationship to why the Dominican Republic. So yes, one of the things I'm really clear about is I have been to over 50 countries now. And I think most places that we travel to, have these really complex, histories. I feel like anti-Blackness is something that is just all over, the world. And that is part of I feel like lifing and figuring out what makes sense for you when you travel. For me, one of the big reasons that I decided to have this particular retreat in Dominican Republic is that when I was thinking about, okay, where does it make sense for us to go? My first mind is I want to take everybody back to Africa. So I've lived, in a few African countries. I'm like, ooh, this would be great. This would be great. And the truth of the matter is, when I found out where I was from, I was blessed to be able to go back. Like so I'm on my father's side, I descend from the Fang Bwiti people living in Southern Gabon. Was blessed to be able to go back for 2 months. Everybody's not going to have that experience right away, or maybe for some time. And so trying to figure out something neutral, enough to where people can have a meaningful experience and then be able to make powerful decisions about what it looks like for them to actually go back and reconnect with their tribe, if that's what they feel called to do. So the Dominican Republic is actually the first place that folks from Africa were brought and enslaved in this part of the world. And so energetically, to think about what it means for us as Black people to go back to the start of this really awful part of our history and rewrite new stories means a lot for me as a unique individual.
I love that. And you also visited Dominican Republic this summer, right? With your family?
Yes. This particular resort. So yeah, the resort, I was telling my girlfriend, so for our retreat, we're staying in their luxury villas. So there are different accommodations available at the resort. And so some of them are these mansions, these villas. And so we'll be staying in these, I think I said 5-bedroom, 6-bedroom villas that are absolutely amazing. When we show up to the villa, I'm telling my husband, I'm like, oh my goodness, I think I'm, struggling with imposter syndrome. I'm like, we got a butler, there who's, waiting on us, private chef cooking our meals, every day, all the top shelf bottle service, gourmet meals and all the things. And so honestly, and it's one of the things I appreciate, about OMNoire is that a lot of my travel started, as a younger person. So I feel like I've done everything from hostels to group shares and, everything in between. But this experience, I think with the emotional heaviness that part of the work will bring, it will be balanced nicely with the comfort and the contradiction of there used to be a time when our folks built resorts like these, and now we stay in places like these. I think the energetic thoughtfulness that has to go around being willing to do this type of work will find a very sweet harmony with the comfort and the plushness that we get to do it in. So recognizing that, that's part of what our lives get to look like when we come back home should already look like. It's all of it, in one, and knowing that as Black women, we get to have all of the above and make choices about that.
And I love that on our live, you mentioned, I think when you were at the resort, the staff was in awe that your son could experience this kind of luxury at his age.
Oh my gosh. So y'all just saw him. He's a huge personality. So I mean, we're literally at the resort. And my son, he's 4 at the time. And so one of the women, she's coming by taking our, drink order. And my son is like, and may I have a strawberry daiquiri? Virgin, please. She's like, yeah, bro. All right, I got you. And so the woman who ended up being the person who was cleaning our villa every day, she just made comment on, that it's really special to be able to see, us and our young Black, skins be, at the resort, because y'all know how it can be. So we out here taking up some space.
I love it. And so besides, obviously like the work that you're going to be doing, what are some other activities that will be taking place at your resort or your retreat, excuse me?
Absolutely. So this retreat is going to focus very heavily on giving people an opportunity to experience different rituals. So it'll be a beautiful opportunity to have embodied somatic experience with some of the things that our ancestors would have been participating in. So there'll be one intentional water release ritual that we do in the space. At the resort itself, there's so many accommodations. You won't have an opportunity to do them all, from the world-class spa that they have there. We're right on the beach. As an herbalist, I'll definitely be bringing in herbal traditions. So we'll have an opportunity to do, workshops and radical self-care coaching, where we talk about some of the places that we can be thinking about incorporating plants as herbal allies and our mental health support. So especially around some of the reclamation work that involves us having to release particular things so that we can even assume new identities. There are also some surprises that I have planned. So one of the things that I really love as a traveler myself is being able to connect with folks on the ground locally. And so I'm fortunate to have, people who I made relationships while I was there. So we'll have some opportunities to be able to get outside of the resort and connect with folks who have a deep understanding of the history of the people who were enslaved in the Dominican Republic, to be able to share that with us and do some really beautiful communal sisterhood practices that they would have participated in that have everything to do with thinking about resilience and caring for ourselves.
I love that. So Coco has to hop off. Anybody has any questions really quickly, just put them in the chat. And then also on the replay that we send out, we'll have a link for you to schedule a one-on-one call with Coco if you have any questions. And I did see, I saw that Carol said that she doesn't have any living brothers or uncles on her father's side. And you have some people that are adopted, things like that. So Carol, of course you can take the Matriclan test. Is there anything that could be done on the Patriclan test side if there's no living brothers or uncles?
So on your Patriclan side, if my question would be, if you have any nephews, that's still a possibility on that particular side. So any cousins on that side who would share the same grandfather as you. So it doesn't have to be their grandfather, but through that lineage, then that test is still possible. You could also test on your paternal grandmother's side. So if you have living aunts on that side, or cousins, again, female cousins through your grandmother's on your father's side lineage, then that's also a possibility. So so if you have, more questions, just reach out and ask them. But there are other possibilities for still being able to test on your father's side if you don't have a male relative who's still living on that side, if you have other relatives that you have access to and are willing to test.
Oh, wait, and the last thing, you and your husband are from the same tribe?
Oh my gosh, Christina.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, so I shared that, so much of my own journey has been around my own mental health. And so I made a decision that I wanted to go study this one particular plant that I'm now in my tradition, we refer to it as a holder of the plant, meaning that I hold sacred space ceremonies for people to sit with this particular plant medicine. It's called Iboga. So I'm learning about Iboga the better part of a year. I make up my mind. Yes, I want to learn about this for, myself as an herbalist. I think this would be very valuable for the work that I do. And, the Nganga. So in my tradition, we refer to the shaman as Nganga is the indigenous word. I hear this brother talk. So the beauty of technology, I hear him talk and he's just like, in the West, y'all love to be on healing journeys. He's like, when y'all ever plan on healing? Why don't y'all join your ancestors and actually heal now and use the rest of your life to work with medicine the way that your ancestors did, do spiritual discoveries, go connect, and ask for guidance and all these things. And I'm like, brother, if that was possible, I sure am interested. I'm over here high functioning, depressed, managing my life. So if it's possible, I sure would love to. So anyway, I reach out to him. He's like, sister, we've been waiting for you. Whenever you're ready to come. So me and my husband go back and forth trying to figure it out. And finally it's like, yes, I'm going to do it. I put in my deposit. A week later, I get my African ancestry DNA results back, and that's the tribe that I'm from. And so literally just this, that's just the way spirit works. So I literally had been feeling called to this by the medicine, by the herbs, by the plants. It's like just finally being willing enough, open, enough, and that guidance always being there, just being patient with me, waiting for me to catch up. But I literally go for 2 months, have an amazing time. I get back, I'm like telling my husband, oh my goodness, you have to go too. 2 weeks later, he finds out he's from the same tribe. And so my mom is like, so wait a minute, what, y'all like husband, wife, cousins or something? I'm like, oh my God. But, it's like, Christina, you said to us very early on in the academy, curate the retreat that you would want to go on. I've been researching my family tree now, going on 20 years. This is the one that I would have wanted, to go on. And so just an opportunity to, one, have it validated, but two, have the support of, like, one, we can actually know these things, and they're actually really valuable traditions that when we lean into them, there's something just so healing, about that. Like, there was one point when I was in Gabon, like laying on my mat, and I'm like laughing, crying. And then the gunner comes up to me and he's like, Coco, you okay? And I'm like, brother, I've never felt better. I think this is the first time in my life that I literally don't feel like I'm in search, of anything. I'm like, literally, if this is all I ever learned, I'm giving my son something that was not given to me initially in this way. And I trust him to carry it on. So, yeah.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us. I know, yeah, your mom is in town, and so you're spending time with her. Get little man his time. He clearly wants some time as well. So thank you for joining. Again, Coco has 2 spots left. So, and also if you apply and book within 48 hours, well, we say by midnight on Saturday, then she has a special VIP gift bag for you. So definitely don't wait. And people do all the time. They wait, and then we put that sold out, and then it's like, can you put me on a wait list? It's like, listen, but the thing is that your retreat is small and intimate because of the work that you'll be doing, because of the space that you're cultivating. So, because I was like, you can like increase it a little bit more, and you're like, this is the number I feel good at. And so, if you're thinking about it, make sure that you go ahead and lock in your spot. Okay. All right. Thank you, Coco. Enjoy mom, enjoy your son, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night. All right. So let's see, where's Alea? I'm bringing you up next. So you just have to turn on your camera so I can add you to my stage. Let's see where she is. Okay. Let's see her. No, oh, there you are.
Hello.
Okay, there we are. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm in the same boat as Coco. I got my little ones running around. So I was like, when her kids showed up, I was like, oh, it's not just me. Okay.
No, Chelsea, all the moms understand that
Yeah.
because they really want to pop in when you're on camera. They
Oh,
will
yeah.
ignore you all day.
Absolutely. And my son, he's 3, so he's a pandemic baby. So he takes every Zoom call as like a personal invitation to get on camera. Like, so he's in the background of every call going, hi, and like telling you about everything.
You like, please do not tell our business on a business call. So introduce yourself. Tell us what you do, your day job, your night job,
The side job, the weekend
the
job.
side job, all the jobs, right? Where you live to, all those good things.
So my name is Alea. I live in New York City. I'm born and raised in New York, grew up in Brooklyn. I'm in Queens now. And I'm kind of laughing at that question, side job, day job. It's so true. I work full time. I work full time doing like content creation. I just recently transitioned out of blogging for a tech company, which specializes in like mental health and wellness coaching. And I transitioned out of that into learning experience design now, which is really like a such a good fit for me because I get to do all the touchy-feely stuff that I love, all the like, well, what's the experience of this? And how does this make a difference for people? And that's really why I got started in content. Like I was always talkative, but always like a natural writer. And it was always the best way that I expressed myself. I loved books. And so being able to connect with people, like I found that there was something very intimate happening online that wasn't happening in people's conversations. Like when we don't have people that we can talk to in our day-to-day lives and a community that we feel like we can lean on, we're, Googling the things like that. And, that's really what SEO is. Like I saw it when I was a new mom, and in the middle of the night, I was Googling, why is breastfeeding so hard? Why does my newborn hate me? What happens if I'm a terrible mother? How do I know I'm a terrible mother? Signs of a terrible mother. And like, and then I saw it again, becoming an entrepreneur and a freelancer, and with the uncertainty that happened over COVID, that was my first year where I had no W-2 and I had two small kids and I was home with them full time. And I was constantly trying to figure out whether it was asking Google and luckily starting to grow a community of people around me that I could ask and say, like, how do I figure out this thing? Like, how do I show up as a parent, and how do I show up at my day job, and how do I show up for this business, which is not just the way of making money, but it's so tied to how I express myself in the world.
And so if you joined a little late, our first discovery call was last month, and I happened to be in San Miguel de Allende, and I was visiting the resort that Alea is hosting her retreat at in August, the Purpose Driven Entrepreneur. And so when I tell you I did not want to leave, that hotel, the city, I know exactly what you mean. Like when you visited and came back and you were like, this is it. This is it. Like it is just breathtaking. And so for, of course, you guys probably don't know, but one of our favorite hotel partners is Belmond, and it is a LVMH, so Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy chain of hotels. And so it is 5-star luxury all the way. But what I really love about the Belmont properties is they're very intentional about the buildings that they purchase and turn them into hotels, or they may have been a older hotel that they purchase and take over and redesign and all that stuff, but they all have historical context. The one that I hosted my retreat at in Portugal, that is I think it's like 100 years old. And Winston Churchill used to write his papers there. So I actually stayed in the suite across from his where his security used to stay in. And that was massive. So the security lived well too, right? And so with Casa de Sierra Nevada, which is where you're hosting your retreat, it's like from the 18th century. I mean, the rooms are gorgeous. They're all different. They're all different. Like my room had a private terrace with a hot tub. So the door to my room opened up to this terrace with the hot tub. And then I walked through double doors into my room. It had a fireplace. It had 2 TVs. It had an indoor shower, outdoor shower. It had a soaking tub. I mean, and then somebody else's, they had 2-story room, where it was like a winding staircase up to, to the rooftop. And so I just love the character of it. And then the city, and the shopping. I was so mad that I brought a little carry-on because I had to buy this massive bag. And what I did was I put all the great things I purchased and I put it in my carry-on so I could, take it on the plane. And I just threw my clothes. I was like, whatever don't make it, don't make it. But what I bought from San Miguel has to come with me. That's how special. And then, I went horseback riding and, on a family ranch. It was like I don't know, I think they had like 40, 50 acres or something. We stopped at this little small town and had Coronas and like all that stuff. But it was special. Y'all can tell how much I loved it, and I can't wait to go back. I already told y'all I'm definitely I'm trying to come to your retreat, but also in 2024 trying to figure out if I can host a retreat there. That's how special it was. So tell us why the purpose-driven entrepreneur. So we already know why San Miguel, right? It's just a special place, but
Yeah.
why the purpose-driven entrepreneur?
Well, when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about at the retreat, and what community I wanted to impact, because that's a big thing for me, is that, you know, like I said, how we work is how we express ourselves in the world. Like, we, especially now, you know, we're not in the lifestyle anymore where we go to work for 40 years, doesn't matter what the job is, as long as it's a good one with benefits, you clock in, you clock out. Like, that's not who we are anymore, you know. And what we do, it's so much of a part of our lives. It's so much about, it's so much in our daily experience. It's how we grow. And whether that work is, you know, in an office, or if you're an entrepreneur, or you're self-employed, or some combination of all of the above, like, because we work so much, like we historically, we work more than I think we almost ever have in the last 200 years. We can't afford for such a significant part of our lives to be not aligned with who we are, and not aligned with what we'll leave behind at the end of our lives. Like, it's, for me at least, it's not acceptable for me to do something I don't care about 10, 12 hours a day, especially when that time is being taken away from my family and my children. And, you know, I see work as an opportunity for us to express ourselves, but also to impact and give back to communities we care about. But the thing is, you know, you hear the phrase like, you do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life, right? And like, I heard that growing up, and I believed that, and I couldn't figure out what was that thing that I wanted to do. And I realized, like, there was a component that was missing. Like, the truth of it really was, if you do what you love, you're going to work extremely hard. You're going to have terrible work-life balance. You'll have no boundaries. You'll take everything extremely personally because you can't put it down. Like, the work that you're doing, when you're that kind of, when you're purpose driven in that way, it's something you can't not do. It seeps into every area of your life. And so it's important to find, like, the antidote to that is really not so much the balance as it is finding the community. Because when I really blossomed as an entrepreneur and as a professional and started doing the work that I feel like I'm meant to do and I'm called to do, is when I found other people that I could have reflect that back to me, who could say, you know, did you know that this is a superpower of yours? Did you see how you light up when you talk about this? Can you see, like, the difference that you made here? And we are so we have such a strong tendency to downplay our own greatness. And when we start working harder and we start getting frustrated and we start feeling like something's not quite right, we also have the tendency to withdraw. And so the reason that I wanted to put together this this experience is that it's actually like less of a retreat and more of a coming out. It's more encouraging entrepreneurs and people that do have this passion to not shrink, to connect with one another, to lean on one another, because this entrepreneurship journey can be so, it can be so isolating. And, you know, a lot of us, I know for me, I'm the first entrepreneur in my family. They don't get it. They're like, you know, why are you still working? Like, why are you up so early in the morning? Why are you working late at night? I've had people tell me, you know, well, before you take on another client, you really need to think about the impact that's going to have on your children. And, you know, but and that's hard to hear. It's heartbreaking. But I had to, and I still am in those inquiries. So I don't want y'all to think I got it all figured out, because that would be a whole lie. But you know, I have really little kids. I have a 3-year-old, I have a 7-year-old. But I realized that balance isn't so much about everything being equal as it is everything having the attention and the presence that it deserves. And so, like, there are times in my life where my kids are going to take up a huge amount of my time. Like right now, my 3-year-old really needs a lot from me. And he gets that presence and attention that he may not need when he's 30 years old. Like, the goal is not to keep it equal. The goal is to make sure that I'm showing up in a way that I feel good about and that I'm proud of. And so I want to open this space for us as entrepreneurs and all of our multifaceted, you know, intersectional identities to come together and to, like, really rest and let go and let the guard down and fall apart a little bit if we need to, but fall apart in that sense of strength where we know, like, it doesn't make you less to ask for help.
I love that. And I'll tell you, like, entrepreneurship is a lonely, lonely space. And I think there's, you know, for all of us as individuals, it's hard to ask for help. But you may be the only person in your friend circle that's an entrepreneur. And so things like, does this copy sound right? Does these colors feel good? Like, is this the right project or service or all of that kind of stuff? And so I've also started to be really intentional about building a small community of entrepreneurs. So, who are also close friends of mine. I just happen to like be surrounded by quite a few entrepreneurs, but creating these masterminds so that, I can bounce ideas off of. I can say like, I literally last week over the weekend, we're changing all of our brand colors. We're, a new website. And one of my closest friends who is an entrepreneur, I mean, we've like literally pivoted businesses at the same time. We're Virgos. We're 3 days apart. Like we mirror each other's moves. It's so interesting. But I was able to ask her, like, what do you think about these color palettes? Like, what does that feel to you? And it just is so comforting. But for so long, I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. And so for so long, I've just done it myself. I didn't have any mentors, and that's because I didn't like asking for help. And I've had to get over myself. You don't know everything and you need help. And so I love that that this retreat again is really is like you said, it's less about balance and like figuring life out. It's about really building community, because once we know we are in community, then it takes some of that pressure off of us to have all the right answers at all times, right? We can really lean into other people and their expertise, their brain power, all of that stuff. So I absolutely just, when you said like, I want this, particular retreat theme because I really want the community, but also just to let go, have fun, right? And then hopefully when everyone leaves your retreat, they have a new tribe that they can lean into. I think also another thing that a lot of us got to get over as entrepreneurs is sharing ideas, right? There's confidence. I have confidence. I can tell you what I'm doing next year. You will not do it like me, right? If y'all follow me on social media, I'll be like, we doing this next week. I don't, you know what I mean? And so it's, we got to start building that confidence to say, that we can speak our dreams out loud. You know why I tell people what I'm about to do before I do it? Because I'm holding myself accountable. And I'm also speaking it to the universe so that it can boomerang back to me. Do I want us to have 300 students in the academy next year? Absolutely. And I'm going to tell you that I want that, and I'm going to do that. Right. Because I have no lack of confidence. And so so in your retreat, I hope that that's a part of the program, to speak it out loud and say it with your chest. Okay. That this is what you're going to do. But now you have community to support you in doing that.
Absolutely. I mean, part of what I wanted to talk about too, like I said, words are my ministry. So words are my superpower. And I feel the same way. Like I know a zillion web designers, but they all have their own different spin on things. Like I know a million writers, but first of all, nobody gonna write it like I do. But that's like, I know so many people that have passions in different areas, and like they bring their own different energy to it. And that's what I wanted people to connect to, is like take a step back from the business and the hustle, and like get together with a community of other people who get it, and then share who you really are. Like, why did you come into this business? What is it that you wanted to do? What's the community that you wanted to serve? Like, honestly, I didn't realize, and I've been writing since I was little. Like, I remember being my daughter's age, she's 7, and I was in 2nd grade and stapling papers together, and I was like, I'm going to write a book. And like, that was my thing. Like, I would go to school every day and write a new book, like my little stapled papers. And I have read thousands of books in my lifetime. Like I love to read. Like this has always been in me. And I never saw myself as a professional writer. And I actually had started off, I was writing fan fiction. Don't dig too deep because you will find it. And like, I don't want you to read it. So I was writing fan fiction when I was younger and just doing it for fun. And then like, that was back in the day, and I'm dating myself a little bit, where you had to, if you were going to have a website, you had to code it yourself. So I was coding the website and doing little HTML things and changing the colors. And then everybody was coding their own MySpace pages so that you had the right song pop up when people went on there. Like, I know I'm old, right? But when I was looking for what I was going to do, when I wanted to help, this is a whole nother thing, but when I wanted to help wellness-based entrepreneurs, in 2020, everyone suddenly had to take their businesses online, and like healers, like light workers, doctors, psychologists, yoga teachers, acupuncturists, those are my people. Like, I get those people. I'm a certified wellness coach. I'm a yoga instructor, meditation instructor, completing a mindfulness based stress reduction program right now. I research work-life balance at my day job. Like, those are totally my people. But I was like, well, let me help you with your website. And it was finally when I started connecting with other entrepreneurs, they looked at me and they were like, you're not a web developer. Like, this doesn't light you up the way that words light you up. Like, when I write, when I talk to you and I explain to you what I do and you give it back to me, I'm like, somebody gets me. And that's what I realized I was supposed to be doing. And that honestly, I was afraid to do. And so realizing that, like, the best way for me to serve the community I wanted to serve and put my unique superpower into the world, and then do the work that lit me up, that was worth stepping away from my kids for, was to have that reflected back to me, to have those skills reflected back to me. So that's one of the experience I want to bring to people, is when I stepped away from that and said, you know what, I'm not just, oh yeah, I could build a website and yeah, I write some stuff, and that when I said I'm a storyteller, like, I help people see themselves. I help people express who they are in the world. When I saw that, that's when my business took off. And that's when I started getting I actually freelanced my way into a 6-figure job. And so now the amount that I make, like, the first blog post I ever wrote and sold was on chakras, and it was for $8. And I still have not gotten that $8. And now I'm signing a contract, 10 blog posts for $1,200 a piece with a major platform. So the way that the growth has happened, I would not have happened if I hadn't been in community with other women of color, who had their own businesses, who were doing the hustle, who were working their jobs and growing and just looking in the mirror every day and saying, how can I get better? And those people will be your biggest cheerleaders. I could talk about this all day. I'm like, I know y'all are like,
and I'm like, I don't want to hold people late, but you know how we do when we get on these Zoom calls. So really quickly, what are some of the things we're going to be doing at your retreat? And also too, it's not just for entrepreneurs, right? So say that, let's be clear, because I remember that I think we were on another Zoom and people were asked, like, well, is it just for entrepreneurs? Like, this is, like you said, about finding your voice, knowing how to tell your story, being able to excel in both your, whether your business or your career, right? So what are some of the other things though that we're going to be doing?
Okay, so aside from all that stuff, because that's the goodies, right? But this place has a spa. We have a whole spa day built in. We will be going to the spa, y'all. There is a hot spring. We are it's booked for the wine harvest season in San Miguel. So we're gonna go do a wine tasting. We have a curated like wine experience on the balcony of the resort. I left some time for you to wander around and explore, because San Miguel de Allende is a city that you want to get lost in. You could just honestly, like, you're going to be mad at me that I didn't leave you more time. Like, I'm fully expecting people to go, can I just stay one more night? Can I just stay another week? Like, it's be prepared that you are not going to want to leave. Like, don't plan anything for the next day or two afterwards, because you're not going to want to leave. You're going to be trying to change your flight. And if you don't, you just got to spend the next 3 days mad that you went home. Like, it's like,
that was me. Like, so I went with, so Belmont, they invite like their clients to tour the properties, experience the city so that we can sell it to basically our clients. I'm always the only wellness person, which is great. But they have wedding planners and event planners and all that stuff. And so we only were there from Sunday to Wednesday. And I already knew I wanted to stay an extra 2 days after everybody left. But when I got to Wednesday, I was like, I need one more day. Like, I just need, and I did. I changed my flight. I paid for an extra night. And that day was just me getting lost in the city. I did want to go to the hot springs, but we had been so busy. And then I went horseback riding. I had I did a photo shoot. I hired a photographer who had a drone, who did video and photo. Guess how much it was? $200. And a makeup artist who I found on IG too, 2 days before, because I forgot all my makeup, because I don't know what I was thinking. And I reached out to her. She was at my hotel room at like 7:30 and she was $65, okay? And so all of that, but I do wish I had done the hot springs, but clearly I'm coming back. So that's one of the things. And then there's some cool ideas I'm going to give to you to surprise your group, because I experienced it, but I also asked the hotel if they could accommodate it. And so I'm going to let you know. Y'all can't know, but you'll be surprised. But once we connect, I'll let you know some of the surprises they can get to your group.
We will be spoiled. I'm excited. The people there are just the sweetest, most loving. Just in the process of planning this retreat, they've been reaching out and they're so excited about just being of service and just having this group here and wanting to shower. It's actually the hard thing is trying to cull down the number of activities to do, because there's just so much to do. And I haven't even started in on the food, y'all. Like the food is just unreal. But I want everyone who comes to, like, my first thought was, when I was thinking about who I wanted to bring on this retreat, are people that love what they do, but who are just burned out, who want to have that moment to like decompress and really, like, it's when you take that moment, that moment of like, you finally stop working on a project and you go for a walk, or like you take the shower or whatever it is. And the second you do, you're like, oh man, I forgot. Or like this happens to me. So I'm telling on myself, where I'm like, I don't want to do any more client calls. I don't want to talk to anybody else. I'm not taking on any more projects. And then I get on the call with the person and I'm so excited for them and about them that I'm like, yeah, man, I'll figure it out. We'll move something around. We'll put you in the schedule. Like, I want us to have that moment of connection and excitement, but I want us to be that excited about ourselves and what we're up to, and bring that back with us, so that like, if we learn how to generate that sustainable excitement and joy and wellness for what we're out to accomplish. Because I know this community and I know we're doing big things. Like, I know that this is my little brag, but like the people that are going to be on this retreat are so much cooler than I am. And like, to be able to be a part of that story is such a gift for me, and to be spending this time with y'all is such a gift. So thank you. I'm so excited to take y'all on this experience.
Look, I'm over here sharing my pictures.
Yes.
Listen, yes. I paid basically $60 for. Yes, it was so good. That city is special. We and actually one of the ladies I was with, she's a wedding planner, a Black woman. She's in Los Angeles. No, it wasn't her. It was another one who's hosted or produced a few weddings there. She knew the DJ at the spot, and so if you guys see the chapel there, he was on a tightrope. They waited till we got there, and it's a special performance he does, but he was on a tightrope. And when I tell you, he was like upside down, he was dancing on the tightrope. It was so special. So, I'm gonna hook you up if I can, if he's gonna be performing. But we were looking directly at the chapel, and he was on this like lighted tightrope. It was just amazing. It's a special place, y'all. It's a special place. So if you're thinking about it, oh, thank you. If you're thinking about it, you need to go. Whether, you just need to reinvigorate like your own storytelling, like to find more comfort in your career, in your business. Like, this is the retreat for you. But you also have so much other beautiful things that are going to happen at this retreat. So again, like, thank you guys. Thank you. Look, I will keep sharing them, because my pictures were the bomb. And the thing is, like, I have hundreds of photos. So I'm like, social media gonna get all of them, because I paid $260 for them. So I'm excited. I'm my drone shots, my video, all of that stuff. So yes, if you guys have any questions for Alea, you could pop them in the comment section or the chat box. And I want to make sure I bring up everybody else because we running over. Thank you, Alea. You can stay for a Q&A. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, who else I got? Let me see, Donna. Let me get Donna up here. All right, where my girl at? Here she is. All right, so I was looking at the poll, honey. The girls want to go to Cape Town for some wine, wellness, and culture. You know what? Somebody also asked, is there an age limit for our retreats? No, like absolutely not. I love multi-generational retreats. I have this one woman, I call her Miss Rose, and she has been to probably 5 out of 9 of my retreats. She is 72 and she be running circles around the 30-year-olds. Okay, that's my girl, but they love when she's there because she has so much energy. She's so much fun and all that stuff. So no, there's no age limit. Of course, like we have some retreats that are a little bit more physically taxing. So it's really just listening to your body and all of that stuff. So Donna, first of all, Donna is on her 4th retreat, y'all, in a year. Let me just say that Donna just be rocking out. The theme of all her retreats is wine and wellness. And so her first 2 retreats were in Sonoma Valley. They sold out within weeks. And then she's a few weeks away from her 3rd one in Sedona. And then we recently, a couple weeks ago, launched her 4th retreat in Cape Town. So Donna, tell us who you are, your day job, your night job, your side job, all that stuff. And then why Cape Town?
Sure. Well, good evening, everyone. I hope my signal stays and everything isn't any issue. Hopefully you can hear me okay. But yes, I am Donna Batts, spelled a little differently, D-A-H-N-A, so you can remember that. And I'm a physician specializing in emergency medicine and in integrative health. So those are my 2 specialties. But I also serve as a wellness director here, and I'm in Atlanta for an organization. So wellness is kind of my business as well. I'm also a certified wellness practitioner. And during COVID, I took on the task of really growing, and I ended up learning and getting more interested and serious about wine. And so I ended up doing my wine and spirits education trust level 2 with distinction certifications during COVID. So I am always looking for different ways to experience local culture. And wine is one of those things that kind of draws you together, but it's just so fascinating, the whole process, the farming, the winemaker, kind of what they do to make their wine special, what's special about that region. So that's kind of why I've chose that theme for the majority of my retreats. When I joined the Academy, what I was interested in doing as a healthcare professional myself, really trying to cater towards other caregivers and caretakers, such as myself, healthcare professionals, counselors, teachers, anyone that may be on the brink or experiencing burnout, and just really needing some time to get away, reset, reflect, and learn a little bit about the local culture and about, wine tasting. So that was kind of what I was interested in doing from the beginning, and really looking at well-being, not just wellness. For me, it's a little bit different. Well-being is really that holistic perspective of your life. How are you perceiving your life? Are you experiencing joy? Are you experiencing purpose? Do you have relationships that are fulfilling in your life? So part of that was a way for me through the Academy and doing retreats to reach smaller groups of people, more one-on-one, whereas in my day job, I do it more for, in a different way, for the masses. So that was kind of what pulled me to retreats and kind of a little bit about my background.
I love that. Yes, I told the social media team, I said, we are going to start using Dr. Donna Batts. And Candace was like, put some respect on her name. Okay. Okay. So, you have now 3 retreats, domestic. Why Cape Town? And you visited last year, right?
Yes, 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 yes. I loved Cape Town. So I really wanted to do something in Africa. I've been there a couple of times before, but I had not been to Cape Town. So I went on another type of trip last year and was able to do a little bit of exploration in preparation for this retreat. So I am so excited because, you know, Africa has everything. You know, you got the mountains, you got the beach, you have historic landmarks, great nature and wildlife. There's good food, great wine. The people are amazing. I felt right at home and I really enjoyed it when I was there. So, and for a lot of folks, you know, everyone has different impressions of Africa. And I can say for South Africa, Cape Town is cosmopolitan. That's a city. We're going to spend half of our time there, but then we're also going to go out to the country and spend half of our time in what they call Cape Winelands. So that's the Stellenbosch and the Franschhoek areas. And that's where they do a lot of the wine growing and, you know, where the vineyards and things are. So I'm excited. I hope everyone is excited and will join me in Cape Town.
Yes. And so September 22nd through 28th. I got that right?
21 to 21.
Oh, why keep saying 22nd? Even when I was typing it out the other day, I kept saying I had to double check. And so you'll stay at a Belmond, the Mount Nelson. Like I said, I have never gone wrong with the Belmond. So I always tell my retreat leaders, like, start there first, because you're just going to be taken care of. Like, their service is top notch. For our retreat leaders, but also for our retreat attendees. I want to say, and we can research this, they may be the only hotel at the base of Table Mountain. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, when I did my retreat in Brazil, and we went to Iguazu Falls and stayed there, we were half in Rio, half in Iguazu Falls. They're the only hotel in the falls. You know, when I went to Machu Picchu, they're the only hotel at the base of Machu Picchu in Peru. So I just love the specialness of a Belmond. So you start there, and then, of course, like you said, you go into the country. We don't have to talk to Donna Long, because wine, wellness, and Black women, that's all you need, right? That's all you need. And then, of course, it's Cape Town. So what other than, okay, so what are some of the other activities you'll do during your retreat besides drinking great wine?
Yes. So, and my retreat is co-ed.
Oh, yes,
co-ed retreat. So I'm stretching a little bit and I'm excited about that. So of course, you know, thinking about culture, we are definitely going to immerse ourselves in the local culture. We'll go up and look at Table Mountain. We're going to go to Robbins Island and visit, you know, where Nelson Mandela spent a number of years imprisoned. We're going to go down to the southernmost part of the continent, and we'll be able to experience Boulder Beach, which is where you see the African penguins. We're going to go on a safari at a game reserve. And so hopefully we'll get to see some of the big five there, the lions, leopards, rhinos, elephants, and African buffalo. So I'm really excited about that. I didn't get a chance to do that when I went last year. So definitely wanted to make sure that was on the agenda for this trip. And then we'll experience the waterfront area, which is really kind of a historic area. So that's kind of some of the cultural pieces. For wellness, we're going to do a lot of what I call kind of mindfulness activities. And that is not only meditation, but some moving mindfulness like yoga and like taking some mindful walks and looking at when we're eating, how can we do that in a more mindful way? I think that's just another tool for people to be able to learn and something that hopefully you can sustain as you take home, because that's part of what I enjoy doing, learning as well as teaching others about different wellness practices as well as wine, and hopefully leaving them with something that they can continue once they go home. So
I love it. I see you have a couple attendees here, Patrice.
Yes, I saw the ladies popping up. So yes, I can't wait to take them. Some of them went on some of my past retreats and gave me, I think they all had great times. We kept in touch. and they gave me feedback, which I appreciate. And so I've been getting, and I love that because I'm able to learn as I'm doing this process and try to figure out kind of, what works, what doesn't. And as I'm doing scheduling and activities and events, I really like to listen to the prior attendees. So I'm so glad they hopped on.
Yeah. And here we go. We got somebody asking about a waiting list for Sedona. I said, if you don't stop doing them like this, Donna would just sell out and then it's just sold out. And then we have people emailing like, can I get on the wait list? All this stuff. I mean, sometimes we have cancellations and things like that. But I said, if you don't stop doing them like this, Donna be like 12 people. That's it.
That's it. Small group.
Small group. But Cape Town is a little bigger, but again, Donna's her people don't play about her. They will book these spots up real quick. So Donna has a special too. If you book within the 48 hours by Saturday midnight, then $200 off your total package. And also again, co-ed. So of course, like a lot of times, I've only done a couple co-ed retreats myself, but they tend to be in further destinations and also, bucket list destinations. So Donna wanted to make sure, of course, if you want to bring your husband, your partner, or whatnot, then, she opened it up for that, because a lot of times when people who are coupled travel to these beautiful destinations and really, far destinations, then you want to bring your partner. So I'm glad that you opened it up for sure. Let's see. Valerie said, I'm not getting left behind. They said, Donna out here hurting people's feelings. I already know. So thank you, Donna. Again, if you
I was just going to point out my background is actually the property that we'll be staying on in the Winelands. So this is actually the Lanzarote Resort and Spa. We will be actually, it's like it's a historical property. I want to say 1692. It was when it was originally stood up, and we are there in the vineyard. So it's a property that is in the vineyard. So we will have that whole experience, probably from vine to glass. So I'm super excited about it. Hope you guys can join and tell your friends.
Yes. And so definitely you'll have time to ask like Donna some questions specific to her retreat. If you can stay, I know we're running a little over, but if not, then we'll just share your email or your calendar link just for people to schedule a one-on-one call if they have any questions. Thank you, Donna. Let me know if you can hang. If not,
yeah, I can hang out for a few minutes.
Oh, thank you. All right, so we are going to our last retreat leader, and then we'll bring up some more that have retreats, just so you can get to know them. Because I in my poll, I asked you all about all of the retreats that are available right now, and so I see some asked about they selected they were interested in the Reconnected Self retreat, the Awakened Goddess, Breathe Easy. And so some of our retreat leaders are in here as well. Let's see, Alicia, where are you? Thank you so much. I know you got, a little one at home. Sorry, we're running late. You know how it is when we get on these Zoom calls. They're so fun. And so, okay, Alicia, so introduce yourself, tell us your day job, your night job, your side hustle, all those good things, and why the Mindful Goddess Expedition. I'll tell you this, Colombia is my bucket list. All the countries
Colombia
in there. Yeah. About yourself.
All right. Hi, everyone. I am Alicia Devica Mateo, and I reside in New York. My day job, I am a teacher, wellness teacher. I also teach theater in a high school setting, and I'm a singer, so into the arts and all that stuff. I am originally from Guyana. My family immigrated and moved to New York when I was young. And my father was actually the person who introduced me to yoga. And he's the one who taught me the true meaning of yoga. Yoga is not just about the asanas, which are like the postures and the movements, right? It's about the mindfulness. It's about what is it doing to your soul? What is it doing to your mind? And how can you be at peace with yourself? And sometimes peacefulness is so much more important than happiness, right? Because we want to be able to be at a place where we accept who we are. So that was kind of the reason I picked Colombia and I picked the Mindful Goddess Expedition, because I really wanted people to journey back to themselves. And yeah, so that's, that's kind of my backstory and my reason why. Yeah.
I love that. And so what I also love is that you get to experience two parts of Colombia. So tell us about that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Colombia, I picked Colombia because I truly believe it's like the best of both worlds. We start in beautiful Santa Marta at Jatana del Mar, which is also called like the heart of the world. And the reason it's called the heart of the world is because the ocean meets the lush jungle meets the mountain range. You're kind of just stuck in the middle of nature. You're forced to unplug, you're forced to release. And in this location, I really wanted everyone to kind of also just be able to do what they want to do. But you're also going to have the option to yoga on the beach, to have sound baths. We're going to have a bonfire. There's an option to hike to the waterfall and go do things like horseback riding. So some adventure mixed with lots of relaxation and classes, of course. And then we journey on to, of course, you can't go to Colombia, not go to Cartagena. We journey on to Cartagena to Sofitel, which is, just think of it like a tropical palace. So it's also declared by UNESCO as the cultural heritage of the world. And think culture, think history. We're going to be going on food tours. And this is the place to kind of really unwind and have fun and hopefully just get a lot of connections and be able to leave with friendship and leave with new experiences. And that's my hope for everyone, is that they leave with things that they probably normally wouldn't do, right? That they probably never thought that they would do in a million years. And they're able to not only do it, but they're able to do it with like-minded women. I think you're on mute.
Yeah, I'm on mute. Because I be typing and I type like Kermit,
I hear that.
I don't want to subject you out of that. But I want you to stop being humble, because you are a singer and you are an incredible singer. Okay. And
Thank you.
you also are incorporating singing into your retreat.
Yeah.
What is that like? What does that do for you?
So singing was kind of like my first love, the arts, theater. It's something I teach, right? I incorporate it by chanting, by mantras, by meditation. And it's something that I want to be able to offer you guys. And it's something that I hope that will help put you in a place of peace and tranquility. And it's just something I love. So yeah, so being able to incorporate the arts in wellness, I think that's a big part of wellness for a lot of people. And in Colombia, you'll just be able to do it all, right? A little bit of adventure, a little bit of the arts and music, a little bit of relaxation and yoga. And it's all up to you. If you wake up one day and you're like, Alicia, I need to relax, I need to sleep, that's all good. Like, go relax. You're going to have plenty of other opportunities to be able to take part in all the activities.
Yes. Okay. And so a couple key points. In Santa Marta at Jatana del Mar, you have the whole resort to yourself.
The
right?
whole resort. Yes. I forgot to mention that. Yeah.
You have fresh food. But let's also be clear, it's eco chic, right? So
Eco chic.
These are like huts.
Right. No, like think beautiful tree house. Yeah, there's some outdoor showers, but we're going to be doing so much outdoor things. And this is going to be your place to kind of disconnect and still experience luxury. I don't want you guys to think again, like it's not a shack. It's you're in nature, and they're just like beautiful bungalows. That's what they are.
Yeah. And then, you fly into there, you have two options, because I see, let's see, thank you, Rachel, for answering that. But Goddess Kate had asked what airport. So you're gonna fly into, you have two options to get to Santa Marta, right? And then everybody's gonna get on a bus after your three nights, right? And and then go to Cartagena. So you're gonna fly out of Cartagena.
So you fly out of Cartagena, you go home from Cartagena. I mean, you could stay longer if you want and go somewhere else. That's up to you. But the expedition ends in Cartagena.
Cartagena. And so there's two options to get to Santa Marta, because they have two airports. Regardless, your transportation is provided.
Yes.
So I think one is like an hour away, another one might be an hour and a half away. So
a little longer.
A little longer. And these options are all on Alicia's microsite. Candace or Brett, can you just pop that in there as we're talking about it? But your return flight will be from Cartagena. I can't say it like you, because
that's okay. I'm like, I'm married to a Puerto Rican, but even we both say it differently. And I'm like, what? I think it's Cartagena. We'll say it like that. Cartagena. Yeah.
Tongue action. Yeah.
Right.
Right. So the Mindful Goddess Expedition, December 1st through the 7th. I know you've been getting quite a few bookings and interest. And so again, y'all just can't wait. Like all our retreats are incredible.
They're filling up.
Yeah. And so, of course, in our replay, if you want to schedule a one-on-one call with Alicia, with Alea, with Coco, and Donna will provide those links to do so. What is the experience you want your attendees to walk away with?
I want you to walk away with peace. I want there to be a feeling of fulfillment, a feeling of joy, right? Of deep joy. And I want there to be a sense of connection and community. And I want you to know that you left a better person, right? And no matter what you're going through, no matter where you are in life, like daily we'll be mindfully working towards a better us, right? So just approaching everything with kindness. That's how I approach everything. And that's how I will approach every day in Colombia. Everything will be, we begin the day with kindness to ourselves, first and foremost, and then kindness to others.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so I'm going to bring all the ladies who are here. Let's see. I see Crystal. You guys got to turn on your cameras. And let's see. So I'm going to bring, let's see. And just really quick, just so you can meet some of our other retreat leaders, or just like if you have any questions. So here's Essie. She is hosting the Awakened Goddess Retreat in Belize, April 29th through May 6th. Listen, I'd be impressed I can remember all these dates. Okay.
Remember, yes.
I don't know how.
Hi, everyone.
My brain is super crowded. All week I've been telling people I don't have the headspace for this. Like, just like, there's just too much going on. So I've been using that all week because I got a lot that's happening in this brain right now. And so Crystal is hosting the Breathe Easy Retreat in Bali, April 22nd through the 28th. Let's see, who else do I have here? Okay, I'm gonna bring Alea back. I love to see all these beautiful melanin faces on the screen. I love that graphic, y'all. I would probably use that to death. People will be so tired of our graphic with all of the but it's the most beautiful thing.
We out there, listen, it's so nice.
We're out here. Does anybody have any questions for Alicia, Donna, Essie, Crystal, Alea, Lisa? She is hosting the Reconnect to Self Retreat. She's not feeling well tonight, so she couldn't join. Let me see. Are we missing anyone else? Oh, Treasure, she couldn't join as well. She is the Reset Retreat in Portugal, but all of their microsites have a link to their emails and also joining their newsletter. You just have to scroll down a little bit. And I'm excited to, y'all haven't seen the new website, but we have a new website. It's going to be gorgeous. So that's why my headspace is a little crowded right now, because we're working on a lot of really wonderful things behind the scenes on OMNoire. Does anybody, no, Bali is not sold out. We still have like, I think 3 spots left. So yeah, so if you want to join, I hosted my retreat at Crystal's Resort, October 2018, my 4th retreat. So when she decided on Bali, I was like, this is the resort. This is the resort. It's incredible. And so any questions for the ladies? I know several of you, I know we had some people drop off, of course. But if any questions or whatnot, but Crystal, tell us about your retreat. Oh, we can't hear you. I know, Crystal, you and your Zoom struggles every time. Every time. All right, I'm gonna go to Essie. So we don't hold anyone too much longer. If you have to pop out and pop back in, let us know.
Hi, everyone. Hello. So I'll go into discussing my retreat and a little bit about myself. So my name is Essie, and will be hosting a Awaken Goddess retreat in Belize, well, the luxurious Belize, in April 29th through May 5th. And so it will be at 2 locations. So a part will be rainforest, and then the second part will be at this location behind me in Hopkins Beach. And so the purpose of the retreat is to be able to have a deep transformation. I will be facilitating my signature angelic healing experience. And that is a combination of really deep breath work as an embodiment breath work and sound healing. And so I'm also a mediating energy channel. And so I will be holding the space, holding the container. And I actually visited Belize, the site already about 2 weeks ago. And so I was able to facilitate a healing experience already in the hut where the retreat attendees is going to have the experience. And so it's already vibing at a high vibration. So I'm really looking forward to return to be able to embody and help others to embody the transformation. And so what else do I have? So it'll be like a goddess welcome dinner, a goddess photo shoot, a ceremony on the beach where we'll be doing lots of different rituals that helps to clear and activate the chakras within your body. And so that you're really coming like home to yourself. You're really tapping into your inner being to let go, to release everything that no longer serves purpose in your reality. So you're stepping fully into like your highest version of yourself. And so that's what I want everybody to walk away with, is just like, hey, what's up? I'm like this pulling through unapologetically and just like this is me living authentically. And I want everyone, it's time to shine. So I'm looking really forward to holding the space, holding the container. The best part for me is always the testimonials and just seeing that people are like, oh, wow, I'm so happy that I was able to like tap into my guidance system. I was able to like really let go and have an emotional release and able to just see a new version of me. So I'm really excited about that. That's it. I have about 6 spots left too.
Let's go, honey. Listen, and people tend to like book last minute. So I was like, Essie, I'm pretty sure you about to get like a flood of bookings.
I added a couple on because I was like, I went back and talked to them and I was like, a lot of people are hitting me up right now. I'm like, what else can I do? I'm like, okay. And so, and the rooms are like so beautiful, plunge pools inside and outside, like showers. And so it's like, it's such a vibe. Big mood.
I love
life.
when I visited, I was tasked, I was a bridesmaid and I was tasked with planning the trip. And I always choose, even with my retreats, places I want to go. So that's my little secret sauce. I'd be like, Portugal.
Right.
Let's retreat there. And so we stayed on Ambergris Caye, and I'll tell you, it was the best time.
So nice.
It's definitely something special. I don't know if it's like on a lot of people's radar as a bucket list. It should be, because it is a very, very beautiful place. And so I'm excited for your attendees, especially to be able to experience two parts of it, both jungle and beach and like all of that stuff. So,
Yes.
And
I'm from Belize too. So I'm going to be like leading different, like a dance on the beach for us to really like activate our body and our divine feminine power. So I'm like really excited about that. Griffin drummers. Yeah. So looking forward.
oh, sorry.
Bless you. Bless you.
Hop in real quick. Tell us about the Breathe Easy Retreat in Bali. And then we're going to let y'all go. We've been on here a little longer than I expected, but it's always a good time when we link up. Oh, you still on mute? Or let me see. Did you should hop out and hop back in really quickly. But Crystal, again, like it's Bali. It's a very special place. I hosted my retreat there. I'll be going back again in July. And I may stay for a whole month. And if you haven't been to Bali, I feel like especially every Black woman should go to Bali, because the energy and the spirituality and the way that they take care of you, like, it's one of those places where you don't feel like people are staring at you and like, why is she here? And like all that stuff. Like, they really, really take care of you in that place. Like, I mean, everywhere you go, from your resort to your tour guides to the people in the shops and everything. And so I'm excited about it. It really is a spiritual journey. And I was on an IG Live with a friend that's hosting a retreat there in July this morning. And she also brought on another friend of hers who went like just for a couple weeks, burnout. Her body was shutting down, like it was certain things. And she's like, she kept extending, like, I'm just going to be there, like for as long as I need to really just heal my body, all of that stuff. So I'm really excited about Crystal's retreat. So I will definitely, if she doesn't come back in, then I will definitely share just a link if you're interested for you to schedule a call with her, just in case. Oh, here she is coming back. Let's see if we can get her in. And then, yeah, any questions? Like, we're gonna hop off in a few minutes, and then we'll share the replay as well. Crystal, are you back? Okay, let's test it out. Before I bring you on, just like say hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, every time I feel like just log on. I don't know what it is.
No, I actually I just logged in with my phone this time because
The struggle.
it's a struggle. You know the struggle I have with this.
I don't know why, but just say quickly hello and just talk a little bit about the retreat and why Bali. And I love that you say it's for high functioning women, which we all are. So we all need this type of retreat.
Yeah, and I gathered that from everybody else's description of their retreats also. Is kind of similar, where we're high functioning overachievers and we want to do everything but take care of ourselves. So that's what the Breathe Easy retreat is really about, because that's something that I've needed to do in the past. And when I went to Bali on the guidance of my therapist to take time for myself, I realized that's something that was lacking for not only myself, but for other women of color. Because we're always on the go. We're always cooking the meals, going to work, feeding the kids, taking care of our parents, you know, putting all the load on us that we forget that we have to take care of ourselves. And the premise of it is that I want women of color to go there and fill their cups that they've depleted already. Because at the end of the day, you're doing all this work, and when your cup's depleted, you're the one responsible to fill it up, nobody else. Nobody at all. So during the retreat, we'll be doing things like going to Mount Batur, doing a nice little hike, and after that, to see the sunrise, we'll be doing hot springs. They'll have a complimentary Balinese bath with a massage. We have daily yoga, some mindful breathwork meditation classes. But in between the whole time, I really just want them to settle within themselves, discover who you are again, and get back to that place that fills you up and brings you joy when you come back with your happiness to the US.
I love it. Okay, now Mount Batur is not a nice, easy hike. So let's be clear, because I did it, Ty did it. Like it's
Yeah.
one of those, you pull everything out of you to get.
But they give you a stick, don't they? They give you a hiking stick.
And they also have motorcycles, right? That will come and be like, do you need help to get to the top? So I mean, so you do have that option to, you know, you can power through. But I will say that sunrise at the top of Mount Batur, which is a volcano, is the most incredible thing I have ever experienced. You are literally at the top, at the highest point, I want to say, on Earth. And that sunrise, which comes below you. So you're looking down at it to watch it rise. It is life-changing. It is the most beautiful thing, but you're gonna work to get there because you leave at like 2 a.m.
It's about 5,633 feet.
Yes. So you leave the hotel at 2 a.m. You get to the base camp, you get your coffee, you get your, your banana, your fruit, and then you trek with a flashlight. But it's so, and then when you come down and you realize what you walk through in the dark, and you're like, oh my God, I did it. But it's a special experience. It's just, but they do have men that come, like, do you want to get on the back of this moped to take you up there? Because by the time you get to hour 2, you pulling everything you ever knew about yourself out of you to get to the top. So Bali is incredible. So yeah, we will definitely share just the replay. And if you want to connect with any of the retreat leaders on their microsites, if you go down, you'll see a little icon for the email. You can email them directly. You can always email retreats@omnoire.com. And if you have a question for one of our retreat leaders, we forward it on so they can reach out to you directly. Any questions? Going once, going twice. Thank you, Goddess K, Carol, Tayloria. I know you're going to Texas. Come on now. She's going to the Reconnect to Self Retreat. Tamara, April, Raven, Miriam, thank you for staying with us all this time. I really appreciate you just sharing space for us. And yeah, the tents. I'm actually going to Lisa's retreat. I'm excited. I've always wanted to glam. And so I told her today that I would come to hers. And so I'm excited about that and that experience. So April has been coming to OMNoire retreats for quite some time. She was in Brazil, Marival in 2018. And so I just saw her apply for Coco's retreat. I think she applied for Lisa's retreat. And so April, my girl, is literally a serial retreat attendee. So I have to call her out because I love it because her job is attending retreats. If that one is going to do nothing else, she is going to treat herself. So I love that. So I hope I see you in Texas and maybe in August in Mexico.
Right. And maybe in Mexico, Dominican Republic, but
Right.
it's my day job and side job.
Right. Day job and side job is attending retreats. Yes, I love it. So thank you, April, for joining. Thank you, ladies, Alicia, Donna, Essie, Leah, Crystal, Coco. Thank you for sharing your stories and your time and your dream for your attendees to experience with you all. And so I'm sure we'll do this again next month. If you have any questions, like I said, just email retreats@omnoire.com and then we can always forward it to our retreat leaders. Thank you so much.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.